So
Mhm.
why did you choose to write a novel, first of all, with a female lead in the 1950s?
Well, interestingly, I kind of based the idea for the novel on the fact that I was born in the late 50s and I grew up in the 60s and 70s. So the people that I saw every day were people from that era, and including a lot of soldiers. I mean, my father was one, my grandfather was one. And so there is a female lead, but as much of the story is about an ex-soldier, a wounded ex-soldier who wasn't wounded that badly, but enough that it kind of changed his life. Jim Yar was the name of the character in the movie. Excuse me, the movie, the book. Hopefully, a
Right.
movie someday, right? Wishful
Yes,
thinking on my part.
absolutely. That was a call out. That was a shout out to the universe.
There we go. There we go. One can only hope, right? But
Yes.
anyway, in the book, he is an ex-soldier who gets wounded through his hand, manages to find his way again in life, and becomes a police officer. There's things that bother him. He has to modify his gun a little bit to use it. But he comes to terms with it, and then eventually gets married, has a wife and child, which is sort of a backstory. It's mentioned in the book, but it's not covered extensively. But then this woman he dated in high school, who was kind of very poor, wrong side of the tracks. Mother was a criminal, and she comes back to try to start a legitimate business and be part of the town again. And so
Right.
that's sort of like where the book starts. And
Yes.
so I kind of wanted to take a look at the 1950s because in some ways, Jim represents a guy where things are going okay. He had a rough
Right.
time in the war, but he got through it,
Right.
manages to establish himself, and is living what he thinks is his best life. And
Right.
then he comes in contact with this woman who really was from like I said, the other side of the tracks. And but he loved her at one time, and I
Right.
think he feels a pull, a dichotomy. And in the meantime, at the beginning of the book, this woman is doing very well. She manages to restart her farm, manages to raise bees out in the field, and sets up, is selling honey locally in her farm stand to local restaurants. But part of the problem that she has in her life is that her mother was a criminal who left a trail of kind of destruction behind her by kind of helping people in banks do some shady dealing, spend money at her farm with some women who were also doing some shady dealings. And she left a really bad taste in the mouth of a lot of people, including one woman whose father ended up going bankrupt because of the time that she spent there. So the
Oh.